Wow. When things just happen all at once and it's kind of like a shit show and you're not prepared for it, but there's nothing you can really do. Well, example one, my voice is for some reason like disappearing as we speak. Hence the water breaks. I apologize. I truly apologize. I don't know what's happening. I lost my voice last week as well. So weird. Also, co-host, this is Cooper. He's also he's like a really pretty decoration. Also, I'm not at home, not in Colorado. I'm in California. At my parents' place. But yeah, back to how life is going crazy. It's been one of those seasons, guys, and it's been a long ass season of some bullshit. I'm not gonna lie. But you know what? This week was magical. I feel like we got the break, which means that season's over. And inevitably, we'll have another season that's been shitty. But right now, that one's in the past. It was like 2 months of bullshit. Some really serious stuff and some stuff that I was like, why? Why? One of the why ones is that I kind of felt personally attacked by technology recently, where things have been going wrong and not working and randomly just happening that have caused such delays or frustrations or tests on my nerves, testing how far I'm willing to go and how dedicated I am to something, to the point that I've asked people and they're like, wow, I mean, I guess it happens, but I hadn't really heard of it. Yeah, it happened to me. And I think it's the universe being like, do you really like what you're doing? And I'm like, yeah, I do. So anyway, I kind of came to accept that this is life for a while or from now on, whatever. And I was like, okay, that's fine. It just so I can know, is today going to be like a really shitty day, a serious shitty day, a scary shitty day, or one of those days like where you drop something and you go to pick it up and you can't pick it up after 6 times of bending down? Like, what kind of shit day is it going to be? And yeah, you just kind of are ready. You just come to accept. This week, though, this week was super amazing and magical and had moments of like once in a lifetime things and special times with family and friends and all the beautiful feelings, right? And I said magical on purpose because they both kind of had, well, they both did have to do with Disney and Pixar, Disney, Pixar, whatever. Yes, that has a huge part in it because let's be real, I love Disney. And I think Disney's supposed to be magical and wonderful and happy and like, yeah, of course. I also feel like when you go through those moments though, you are just so grateful when it changes. You're so grateful that it's over that you're just like extra happy. And I'm extra happy and grateful, but like, I mean, Disney, it just was perfect. I'm very grateful. It's been a great week. I needed it. So my brother came into town with his girlfriend and my nephew Connor, who is 14 and has never been to Disneyland. So we all went to Disneyland together. And the thing about people going to Disneyland for the first time, like kids or adults, it's just such a wonderful experience. It's so beautiful to see them experience it for the first time because it's like, you know what that feels like and you're like excited for them. My husband, he went to Disney World, but it was his first Disney experience at 28. And so like we went hard and it was amazing and beautiful. He wore the ears, he wore the button. It was just great. And I love it. Even with strangers, if I see they're wearing that button that says it's my first time at Disney, I'm like, oh my God, you're gonna have the best time. I can't help it because I'm just excited for them. And then Olivia's almost gonna be, she'll be 5 in August, but it's only her second time. And I feel like at this age, like for the next couple years, every time we go to Disney, it'll be like that first time because she's like seeing something in a different way for the first time. Like as they grow up and they turn into little humans, like her first time she saw things, but she couldn't ride any of the rides because she wasn't tall enough. And now she's tall enough. We went on Splash Mountain. And by the way, I want to clarify, I did not choose Splash Mountain. And it's not Splash Mountain anymore. It's like a Tiana's Bayou something. I didn't choose it. She had said it. I don't even know when she heard it. Maybe I had said this something, but like it's the first ride she wanted to go on. And it was an experience. Maybe not the happiest at moments, but she loved it. She did love it. She had a great time. I probably should have prepped her, and I didn't realize that I hadn't prepped her until we were walking into the ride and you hear the people screaming from the drop. I'm remembering it. And we got the picture at the end. It's hysterical. Either way. So like seeing them two experience it together in different ways though was beautiful. And then my brother and I realized that to our recollection, yes, Mama, I'm sure we went together. We don't remember going together because we were probably too young. I'm sure it happened, but this is like our first time going together where we know we're going together. We're experiencing it together. So that was a beautiful moment for us to have, but also to have our kids have. It was like full circle, like family, beautiful, cherished memories, photos. I loved it. It was amazing. It was really like one of the best days ever, ever, ever. So yeah, we had a great time. And then the next day, we were so lucky and blessed that our friend Clark invited us to the Toy Story 5 premiere. And it was amazing. The movie was great. The ambiance, everything was great. Going to the Dolby Theater, I'd never been there before. And the after party was super cool because it was geared towards children. So like my daughter made slime. She went up a climbing wall. They made like time capsule things, and they had handkerchiefs you could personalize and all these different things like foods. She had fun, which is cool because like typically when you go to a premiere, it's like kind of for an adult, but this is a kid's movie and Pixar did great. I mean, the movie was really good though. I highly suggest you go. This is not an anti-technology movie. It is definitely an eye-opener, and it's a comment on what's happening today, I think, where we are today in society with kids and devices and such. It doesn't end up like that. It's like it's a ride. It's a wild ride, guys, and it's so worth it. Go see it. You'll love it. So both of those moments were like some of the greatest ever. Like things I will keep with me forever. They'll be in my memory, like that little memory bank right here that like you just like you have a bad day and you're like, but remember Disney. Remember the Toy Story premiere? Remember what Olivia was wearing? By the way, I have to say it because she was so cute. Hot pink faux leather, metallic with little rhinestones on it, skirt. A navy sweatshirt that had a big sequin pink bow on it. A sequin headband. And these pink sequin cowboy boots or cowgirl boots. These are like white lacy socks. Oh my God, she was so freaking cute. She was adorable. She was a vibe. Oh yeah, and of course at the premiere, I forgot to mention, seeing Taylor Swift. I mean, I didn't know she was going to be at the movie. My husband asks, why don't you ask Clark if Taylor's going to go to the premiere because she has a song? And I was like, that is the dumbest thought. No, hell no, she's not going to go to a premiere. She's so busy. She walks in and I was like, whoa, well, I'm stupid. Lo and behold, she freaking sings. And she sings with Randy Newman, once in a lifetime moments. And honestly, it was like, wow, these are incredible times, right? Funny enough, though, this episode really doesn't have to do with either of those things. I mean, it involves them, but that's not the point of it. The point is like, I had this moment, or I guess maybe kind of an epiphany, but like realization, existential crisis. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. But basically it triggered me to go down this rabbit hole and spiral and think about all these different things. I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. And of course, me being me, once those hamster wheels are going, once the horses are off to the races, they can't really stop. I just keep going. And hence I'm here with you talking about it in an episode. And yeah, let's go on this journey. I'm going to Quentin Tarantino in a bit because while, yes, we went to Disney first on Monday, my aha moment happened at the Toy Story premiere. So anyway, we're watching the movie and there's this scene, and I'm going to be very careful about this because obviously I don't want to get in trouble with Disney and Pixar. So I actually went and watched the trailer of the movie just to make sure that maybe if I said something that people could have already seen that in the trailer, and lo and behold, there was like almost the same thing. What happened was they kind of like were looking at a house. All the family members in there were looking down or looking at a device, some type of technology consumed, and they had the glow. And the glow, everyone knows what the glow is. Like you hold your phone up and it casts a glow. And in movies and such, they really dramatize it. And I mean, it was accurate. And then they pan out and they looked at all the other homes and it was like the same situation. And I was like, whoa, I'm going to age myself. There was this show back in the day called That's So Raven. And Raven had like psychic powers or something. And whenever she had like a premonition or like a moment, she did this like physical motion at like the you see this move, this like a swipe, this whirlwind, right? This whoa moment when she has it and she like pauses and whatnot. I felt like I had that moment, that feeling, that vibe because I'm watching the scene and I'm like, holy shit, I've seen this. I've seen this. I just saw it yesterday at Disneyland. And where I saw it was like a moment of frustration because I was walking. Okay, off the bat, I have an issue with people walking. And I'm going to tell you why. I feel like humans don't know how to walk. And I think walkways, including schools, including airports, including anywhere that groups of people walk together, they congregate and they walk. They need to be able to have like road signs, like road lanes. There needs to be pull-off areas. There needs to be speed limits. I just think we just need a little bit of help walking. And so at Disneyland, of course, it's expected. Large groups, lots of things, kids, older people, whatever, all different types of people are going to be together walking. But in this moment, I was really frustrated because I was like, why is no one moving? Why am I dodging these people? Why am I going like zigzagging? And even in my zigzag, having to zigzag through this park. I get it. There's a lot of people, but come on, really? And so like it took a moment. I was like, what the fuck's happening? And I look up and I look at the people. And it was that scene in the movie, that exact scene. Well, not the exact scene, but that emotion, that same vibe, that feeling, that imagery of everyone looking at a device, whether they're looking down into their phone, whether they're content creating, whether someone's taking a picture of them, whatever it was. They were like, I'm not saying everyone, but a lot, I would say the majority of people were looking down or looking at something. And like, that's neither here nor there whether it was a bad thing. I'm not saying they were wasting their lives away, and I'm not talking shit about those people, because to be honest, I was one of those people at Disneyland that day. And I'll tell you why. At Disneyland, they have this app. And I think at all the Disneys, they have this app. It has all of these different features for your experience there. You can make reservations at restaurants. You can order food. You can actually purchase like your merchandise. You can skip the line, whatever, lightning pass. You have options for it. You can get your photos from rides. You can do all this shit. There's like so much more. And one of the features is a map. So my brother and I are in different spots. He's with his son and his group at Star Wars Land, whatever that is. And we're by the Haunted Mansion. We're like, oh, hey, we're done with this. Like, what do you want to do? And like, I'm like, we'll go over to you, right? So my husband and I are trying to figure out, like, I'm like, Paul, where is it? He's like, well, I think it's over there and there. And so we walk around. And he thought wrong like 4 times. For some reason, we just couldn't figure it out. So I looked down at the map and I'm like, okay, where are we going? I see it. And the coolest thing is that you can search for a location and it'll show you the location in relation to you with this little triangle that basically, like, anytime you turn, it keeps it pointed at your destination, right? Whatever you're looking for. I see it. I'm like, oh no, we're this way. We got to go that way. So like 2 more times go by. I'm hot. I'm frustrated. I think I'm at like 17 or 18,000 steps at this point. And it's not like sweltering hot like it was in August, but it's pretty fucking hot. And a lot of people, I'm already frustrated walking with the people. Ugh. I'm like, fuck it. I need to look at this. Let's follow it exactly. So I'm looking at my map and going to Star Wars Land or whatever it is. And I find him. Awesome. But when I got there, I was like, wait a second. I have no idea how I got here. Like, to the point that I'm pretty sure if someone was like, how'd you get here? Figure you don't get to use a map, go exactly back to where you were. I would have no idea. And it was like a weird moment because I'm like, wow. You know, when you're driving sometimes and you get in a zone and you're like, I don't know. I don't remember driving. I just was driving. I know I was driving and I didn't crash. So I must have been paying attention. But like, how did I get here type of thing? Maybe it's just me and my friends, but like it happens. That's what I felt like. And then I'm thinking like, man, I'm one of them, the people who are in the phones. I mean, and again, there's no judgment because they could be using it. The app is useful. It is really useful. It's not like any of these people were doing something wrong. I was not doing something wrong. In fact, it was a really necessary moment for me to find my brother and to be able to do it quickly and not have to get heat stroke or want to die or fight someone because they can't walk. It was a real and a logical and a rational use of technology. And yet I did miss an entire walk over to my brother to Star Wars Land. And it kind of freaked me out for a second. And I was like, wait, Disneyland, how did I miss it? Whatever. Anyway, back to the premiere. So the movie ends. Amazing. We're all clapping and we're cheering. And it's just, and they go through the credits and through every person. That, by the way, like in my mind, I'm thinking, what about the people who get more claps than others? Like, is there like a battle? What if you don't like that person? If that person doesn't get many, like, do they think now everyone hates them? It was like a question. I have to actually ask my neighbor. I have to ask Clark about that because I was like, I feel like some people got less claps than others, and I would feel like shit, you know? Whatever. I digress. So that they do the credit thing and the movie's over, everything's done. And I'm thinking the lights are gonna turn on and we all leave, right? I'm grabbing my purse, and all of a sudden the screen goes up. I'm like, what the fuck's happening? I look and you can see the silhouette of the piano and this woman, and it's fucking Taylor Swift. And she's singing the piano version of her song from the movie. And I mean, everyone stands up, they're clapping, they're cheering. Whoa, like it's amazing. Whoa, like this amazing moment. I'm looking at Olivia, and Olivia's doing this to Taylor Swift. It was like the cutest thing ever. I mean, Olivia's like a huge Taylor Swift fan, and she's not even 5. Love you, Taylor Swift. She's got a little Swiftie who's 5, and she knows your shit. Anyway, then she brings Randy Newman out. They have this cute little dialogue, and they sing "You've Got a Friend in Me" together. And I'm thinking in my head, like, this is amazing. What a once in a lifetime moment. I'm one of a few that gets to experience this. And as I'm thinking all these things, I pull out my phone and I pull it out to record. And about 45 seconds in, I'm looking and I'm like, oh my God, it's been 45 seconds. I'm recording this duet, this once in a lifetime experience of them singing together, which is happening right there in front of me on my phone so I can watch it later. But I'm watching it in real life through my phone. And it psyched me out again. I was like, what the fuck? I didn't even think about it at all. It was so automatic. It just happened. And I'm like, Elizabeth, put the phone down and watch. So I did. I did. But still, I wasted 45 seconds watching my phone when she was right there. And again, I'm not using my phone for a horrible thing. I'm using it to document a moment that's like once in a lifetime. I will want to refer to this later in life. I will want to show my parents. I will want to show people who couldn't be there that love her, right? And so it's not bad. It's not a selfish or an immoral or this is why technology is bad for society because we're not even da 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 da. It wasn't a bad reason. It was a very logical reason. It was a very real reason and a reasonable reason and a good reason. But because I chose that, not even chose that, it happened. It was an automatic thing. I missed 45 seconds of like a real life experience of really seeing her there. And I was like, wow, it's very similar to what happened to me at Disneyland. Cause I looked at my phone and I used it for a good reason. It was a very valid reason. It was a reasonable reason. It was a necessary reason, to be honest. And I missed the entire walk. What the fuck? And I think that's when I started thinking like, these were good reasons. This is what technology is made for. And it's like, well, but at what cost? I want to assume that a lot of those people in Disneyland I used it the right way. Even at the Toy Story premiere, there was I would say like almost everybody had their phones out with the lights and all that. And it's not that that's a bad thing. I'm not commenting on whether or not that's bad. I'm commenting on the fact that instead of being in real life, like looking at her and experiencing this amazing moment, we're recording it and looking at it through a phone. Why? Why would we do that? And so, like, the thing is that I don't care whether this is not a comment on technology. It really is not. It's not a comment on whether technology is good or bad. It's not for good or for evil. It's not detrimental, whatever. I mean, I have my own stance on it, but that's not what this is about. If you want, I mean, there's a million, billion, trillion documentaries out there that I'm sure if you want to talk about that, you can. But that's not what this is because they can do that. This is more so a comment on like, well, if I use technology. I will always use technology because it's always going to be here. And I feel like I did it the right way, but I at what cost? Like, is this my problem? Is this something like what's happening? And how often does this happen? And why does this happen? And can we prevent that from happening? This trade-off, this cost, yeah, I get to have that on my phone, but I can't get those 45 seconds back. Yeah, I got to get to my brother easier, but I don't have a clue where the fuck I was going. I just was kind of going through. And the app had all those people staring at their phones. And maybe that amplified their experience, but still, you're looking down at your phone instead of this place where literally someone has spent years and years and years of their life designing it for your experience. Everywhere you turn is an experience. It is meant to be lived in real life, not through a device. But the wonderful people at Disney created this app to make this experience at the park that they also designed better, easier, just more full. I don't know. They did that. So I decided to do some research. I did some research and I realized that technology, it's a tool that's designed to support, to problem solve, to amplify, to make human life easier, daily life, human experience, right? The value of technology is only effective when it's used as a support versus to replace hands-on experience. And in all of this, like where it's like it's used to enhance and not to replace, right? I feel like we're not doing a great job, right? We're not doing the great. It's not a comment on we're stupid or we're bad or we're weak or whatever. It's more so like you have to actively use this as a tool. Because right now, I read a bunch of studies that basically said our first instinct now as humans with technology for as long as we've had it is to document versus to experience. And that's a sad thing, but it's true. The first thing I did was to pull out my phone. I didn't even think about it. That was like, oh my God, this is happening. Gotta do it. And how did that happen? And so after I'm reading all this stuff about what we do as humans and thinking all the times that I have used technology as a tool properly and yet had some sort of cost and trade-off, it made me think like, well, how often does this happen? Like really, how often does this happen? When else has it happened? What other examples are there? Why does it happen? Is there anything we can do to prevent it, to avoid it? I mean, or is it just a necessary evil that comes with this? And like, does it happen to all tools? All tools, do they have this cost? And really, that's when the spiral really like went full force. That's when I really started to think of all the things that we use technology for as a tool. And where's the cost? Where's the trade-off? So I asked my husband, I was like, hey, if you can think of like where we use technology as a tool, what the benefit is, but then what the cost is, like what's the trade-off? And he's like, yeah, the first thing that I thought of was e-scooters. I don't know if everyone knows what an e-scooter is, but in Colorado, in Denver, he used to work downtown, like in Rhino area. And in downtown of any city, typically, it's more congested, it's traffic and all that shit, right? So they designed these scooters that you can rent. I want to say it's like there's some sort of payment option like on there. So you can pay with like your credit card or whatever. And you take it wherever you are, wherever you pick it up, and you use it around the town. And then you leave it. And you'll see why I said leave it. Great thing, right? You can pick up anywhere and you can use it. You do beat traffic. You can be outside. You can save money on a car. You can get from one place to the other. Sounds like a good idea. What's the cost? Well, to my husband, because he loathes. This is like a very serious topic. I would say there was like a significant number of days he'd come home from work angry and had to do these fucking scooters because whoever created them, kudos to you. I'm sure they're great. And you had great intentions, but like, why didn't you create like bike stations, like a lock of stations, return stations? Because people just leave them all over the place, literally in the road, on the sidewalk, anywhere in a parking spot. And so they're just everywhere. They're littered around. They did a news thing on it because it was so bad. I could see whether it's positive. There's a lot of young people who are commuting to work or school, whatever, but then they just drop them. Why? People tripped over them. People would hit them with cars. I mean, there's a whole thing, right? And I feel like that's a cost. Yeah. But for me, it was more like GPS. That was my first thought because I use Waze for everything. Anywhere I need to go, I use Waze. Unless I really know where I'm going, but really also for traffic to know how long it's going to take. So like you have the directions, you have like a fun voice sometimes, which is entertaining. You can use it on your phone. You have the traffic. You have the ability to report things. I don't know. There's a lot of real positives to that. And I think that's amazing. GPS in general, like amazing. You never have to, like, does anyone remember MapQuest? Where you'd print out sheets of paper to have directions? That was annoying. Because then you're also having to read those directions, which I guess is like back in the day, that was a technological advancement, a tool that you could use to get somewhere easier. I guess it's a form of GPS, but you'd have to read it, which is a little dangerous. Let's be real. If tomorrow all of the GPS companies were banned, they all had to shut down, right? Could you get from one place to another? Like really, and this is not a comment. Like I'm not talking shit about people. I'm talking about a skill, navigation. There's this thing I found the other day that it's hysterical. And every time I see it on Instagram or whatever, I laugh because I'm like, I'm totally this person. They go, "Oh, my husband giving me directions, like, oh, head north and then go this, whatever." Listen, Christopher Columbus, do I turn at the Taco Bell or do I turn at the Target? That's me. That's me. Don't tell me like, go 3 miles that way, go 6 blocks on this, go south and then whatever. No, no, no. Magellan, Christopher Columbus, I need to know what is my landmark because I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Directions, north, south. The only way that I know directions here, especially in California, the water is west. In Colorado, the mountains are west as well. And east is the plains. That's what I know. East is over the hill in the valley. It's just funny because what do you do? If everything went away, would you be able to survive? We're reliant on it. I mean, like as basic as typing and keyboards and computers, right? You can type up something. You can take so much less time and like type it all up real quick, print it out, and it's all pretty. It's all legible. You can save it as a document. You can keep it forever. You can probably protect, like it won't get burned if you keep your computer with you or you have it in the cloud. But like, that's a tool. It's a valid tool. It's a necessary tool for some people. It's very useful. And like for my brother, I hate to call him out. James, I love you. I love you. He didn't have the greatest handwriting. Okay. He did not have great handwriting. So to ask him as a kid to write an essay, I mean, come on, that's fucked up. He's already at a disadvantage. But he could type up something and he could show you exactly what you wanted. And it was easier for him. It was quicker for him. I mean, I took typing lessons in school. I remember Mario teaches typing at home. I mean, it's a valid and a necessary tool. Nowadays, it's probably beyond a tool and it's just a way of life. But that is another whole point, right? But if there was no ability to type anymore, you could not type. You could not use a computer or a typewriter. I don't know if people know what that is. Could you write? I mean, we're already seeing cursive is almost obsolete. Like they're not teaching in schools anymore. They're not teaching cursive in schools. Like, what the fuck is that? I had to take like a whole course. Like there was like a whole year where I was not allowed to print. And then kids are not even printing anymore. Their handwriting's not great. Oh, by the way, I've been wanting to ask this question if anyone has the answer to this. So for people who can't write cursive, how do they write their signature? Isn't your signature supposed to be cursive? Or like mine was, like the basic one, like some people do go fancy. My dad has a fancy signature. If you look at it, it does not look like it says Pat Riley. It looks like it says, I don't know. I don't know. It just looks weird. And I think that there's some people who do, but like, isn't the basic cursive? Like, that's how you sign. What are they going to print twice? Because like there is a box that says print your name and then it says signature. Which is which? I don't know. Riddle me that, people. But anyway, can people write? Is it even being taught in school anymore? It's just like a weird trade-off, right? And I had this moment though where I was like, okay, wait, I would be okay. I would be okay with writing because I learned to write. I learned to write cursive. Olivia will learn to write cursive because I will not allow that to happen. But either way, I did. I knew what life was like before typing. I'm sure the thought of not having a computer to do work on for a lot of people is like crazy. But we live that life because I'm a millennial. I was born in 1988. Yeah, that's right. 88. Which means that I was born in one of the last generations that would ever experience both pre-technology, like the rise of technology, and the internet in general, because the internet didn't exist, guys. And then the technology craziness. Like imagine Google didn't exist. AI, not even. But they had Ask Jeeves. Does anyone remember Ask Jeeves? I think he was a butler, right? And let me tell you, Jeeves didn't know much. He didn't know a lot. He knew some things, but he didn't have all the answers. No, he did not. I had a house phone. We had a house line. My parents still do, by the way, have house line. But we had fax machines. We had the internet, but the internet was dial-up, guys. You had to have a phone line to get on the internet. And on a cell phone, what the we had T9 texting. A touchscreen was like, whoa. Like you would watch someone like Tony Stark use a touchscreen. You would never imagine that that could exist ever. And it did. Computers were giant and heavy. I mean, now they're like, ugh. And I just found my old ones, like one of my first Mac ones, like Apple ones. It's silver, I think, but it's huge and it's so heavy and it's so thick. And I kept thinking like, wow. I remember my mom had this teensy tiny little flip phone, tiny. And I couldn't imagine her texting, but texting wasn't really a big thing either because it was like 10 cents a text. No one texted. What the fuck? I lived in that life. I lived that life of no real technology. And then as it came up, I lived that life. I had the first iPhone. I had a flip phone that was one of the first that had a camera on it. I remember it was T-Mobile, and it was a flip phone silver that had a roller thing that you could roll back and forth so you could take a selfie. It was like one of the first, I think. Wild. And selfie wasn't a word. Guys, selfie wasn't a word. It makes me feel old, but it also makes me feel like that was the days, you know? The thing I would bring back if I could ever bring it back in life, guys, and I will tell you this every single day to the day I die. I wish they brought back the sidekick. Does anyone remember the sidekick? It was like a mini tiny computer. Had a full keyboard. It made a cool noise whenever you opened it. You got little cases and shit. The text tones. Ugh. One of the other like meme gifs, whatever it is, that I laugh at on Instagram is that pops up every once in a while is we used to pay like $1, $2 for ringtones. I don't think my phone has been like off of mute for like 10 years. Like it's hysterical how times change. Either way, I'm kind of getting out of hand here because there's just a lot of things that are different. But basically, I grew up with that. Those skills, that part of life was a part of our life. Technology was not. So I knew it was like if someone took it away, I mean, it would take me a bit, but I would figure it out. But then I think of my daughter and I'm like, holy shit. She's living in a world that has never not known technology and like technology at like a very fast pace, a very, very highly intelligent technology. We were dial up where you were praying that someone didn't pick up the phone, right? She doesn't know what life is like without that stuff. She takes it for granted. And it's not like she's taking it for granted on purpose because she's spoiled. She just has no idea what life would be like without that. I tell her things sometimes, I'm like, you think I had that? Then I catch myself like being like, when I was young, I didn't have this. You don't even know. It's like I'm like 100 years old and like we give her sometimes 30 minutes of specific games that we lock, or she can watch some like YouTube things that she likes that we lock as well. It's like YouTube Kids, and she only has the download ability, so she can't go online. She'll watch like Chef Nick. She loves Chef Nick or Mark Rober, and we'll let her go, right? Olivia came up to me and she was like, Mom, can I use Dudu? And I was like, no, Dudu's the iPad. And by the way, it's the old, huge iPad that they don't even make anymore. And she's like, Mom, can I have Dudu? And I was like, no, you don't need to be. Go, you can play with something else. And she's like, but Mom, it's mine. uh, that was a quick no. No, ma'am, it is not yours. No, it is not yours. It is mine. And let me just do this whole thing right now. None of this is yours. This whole house, this stuff in here is not yours. That room isn't even yours because you did nothing to earn it. You live in my home and you're a part of my family. You're my baby. So you have rights. But in terms of ownership, that is mine. And she was like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, when did you first get your own iPad? And I was like, Olivia, they didn't exist. She could not fathom that thought. She was like, whoa, wait, what do you mean it didn't exist? What do you mean the iPad didn't exist? And I went down this whole thing. I was like, Olivia, I didn't get my first iPhone until I was a senior and I graduated because it came out that year. And she's like, how long ago was that? And I was like, we're not playing this game. We're not going to go there. We're not going to do that. And I realized like that was a huge thing. I grew up in a time when we didn't have it. And these kids, they're growing up in a time where they have access to all this shit. This is all a part of life. They've never known anything else. There's this whole comment on children and the kids and how it's ruining their lives. And honestly, there's some very, very truthful statements in that. I've seen it in different studies and documentaries, and I've read about it in medical journals and such, but I've also seen it firsthand. Not just kids, but like adults have been addicted to it, where a kid was on it and then told that, hey, it's time to do this. And there was such a vehement reaction. It was as though they were withdrawing and being told they couldn't have a drug. It was wild. I was frightened. The truth is that that's not on the kids. Kids have no emotional regulation. They have no ability for emotional regulation. That ability to say, hey, I maybe shouldn't do this, to give themselves those boundaries and understand why, that doesn't happen. So in reality, it's on the adults, the parents. It's on us to teach our kids the right way to do things, right? It is on us to teach kids, hey, technology is a great tool. Because guess what? I think it is a great tool. I love technology. I'm not commenting on how horrible it is to society and all that. Hello, content creator. I would be the biggest hypocrite in the world. I use ChatGPT. No, I don't use Claude anymore. I don't like Claude. I fucking hate Claude. And it's for personal reasons, not because I don't think it's an amazing tool. But I fucking hate him. We've had fights. That's alarming, by the way, because the fights, never mind. I don't even want to get into it. But either way, I use those things and they're going to be in our lives forever. But at the end of the day, it's our responsibility to use them as tools, to use technology with intention, with the right mindset. Because if you don't, then it can get scary. Then it gets iffy. Let's be real, guys. Let's be real. Us as humans, we have a tendency to look for the easy way out. And just like relying on this shit, it is what we do sometimes. It's easy to get dependent. It's easy to do that. And we can't sit there and blame the kids for it because you know why? It's our responsibility to teach them. It's our responsibility to teach them in the right way. And also to be accountable and to be aware that we're not doing the best we can. It's easy to get caught up in it, to just take the easy way out, to fall into that trap. But we have to be the ones who not only teach our youth, but are also hold ourselves accountable to those things that we're teaching them. Here's the thing. I thought I was doing a pretty good job, right? Wrong. And I had that moment where I had to look at myself in the mirror recently, and it was hard because it's true. Like, it's easy to get caught up in the convenience and the easy way out and using it as an end, not a means to an end. And here's what I mean. So Olivia and I, like, I've showed her what ChatGPT is. I've showed her what AI is because I don't want her to have the wrong idea. She's growing up. Kids talk about things, she's going to kindergarten. But also, like, she's not been out and about. She's not watching things on TV like that. And she has friends, but she's not been on a lot of play dates or anything. So she just hasn't been exposed to a whole lot. And she will. And I want to talk to her about it. I want to teach her the right way. So I have. She'll ask me questions. I'll look them up. I'll get answers. It's fun. We do this like little thing. So the other day, she comes up to me. She asked me some question. I want to say, what do orcas eat? And I was like, they eat like everything. She's like, not sharks. And I was like, oh yeah, they eat great white sharks. They're like the most dangerous. And I was like, I don't know. Actually, there's a whole debate, whatever. What is the most dangerous? Is it great white sharks or is it orcas? And she's like, oh, okay. And so she goes, Mom, actually my phone says that orcas are the most dangerous. So I just thought I'd let you know. And I was like, okay. And like this. I was like, okay. I see her and she's like, chat, I need to, da, da, da. And she's having a whole conversation. And I'm like, oh, what are you doing, Olivia? And she's like, oh, I'm talking to chat about blah, 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 blah. And trying to figure this out because I have the whatever to do. And I was like, oh, okay. Then she also pretended that she had an Amber Alert on her phone and that it was a kid that was missing. And I was like, wow. And she's doing this. She's pretend playing. And when kids pretend play, it's how they figure out how adulting is. And they mirror people. And as she's doing all these things, I realized, holy shit, she's mirroring me. I'm the one that's taught her all of this. When she has a question, she goes straight to chat. And so today, actually, earlier, when I was attempting to do this episode the first time, she was sitting with me. She's like, I'm on your podcast. And I was like, okay, Olivia. I go, what do you use technology for? And she's like, to play games and sometimes and to watch my shows. And I was like, okay. And I was like, let's do a little test. I go, Olivia, when mommy has a question, what does she do? She pauses for a second and goes, she asks Chat or Claude or sometimes Siri. And I was like, holy crap. I'm looking at myself in the mirror going, wow. Because it's not that I don't want Olivia to know that. I want Olivia to be able to do that. My problem was the fact that she thinks this is what adults do. That when there's a problem, adults ask Chat and Siri. And I was the reason she thought that. And I was like, okay, something's got to change, Elizabeth. I'm not making a horrible mistake because the tools are there. That's what it is for. But my issue is that what I'm doing wrong is that I am using it. I'm relying on it instinctively. I am automatically doing it. I'm going and pulling my phone out because Taylor Swift's right there. I'm going to document versus experience. I am pulling my phone out and I'm using it for a map. And I'm missing the entire point of what Disneyland is. I am trying to answer cute questions for my daughter and going to Chat and Claude in them and teaching her that that's where you find your answers. You don't have to go any further than that. That's what you do. You don't need to think for yourself or anything. You just ask Chat or ask Claude. And that's not what I want to teach her. Because here's the thing. I don't want my daughter to not use technology. I also don't want her to hate technology. I don't want her to think technology is evil, and I don't want to stop her from using it because it's a part of our lives, guys. It's there forever. And I don't think the question is a matter of if technology is a bad thing, if it's evil, good or evil, or whatever. And I don't think it's a question of whether it should exist, because it does and it will continue to. I think it's a matter of whether technology is helping us live or whether it's becoming our life. I love technology. I mean, I don't love technology, but I love it because I use it. It helps me. This podcast exists because of technology. I was able to see my baby in my stomach because of technology. I mean, doctors create cures for things in medicine because of technology. We can drive because of technology. We're doing eco-friendly things. Disney uses an app with technology. Movies use technology. Sporting events use technology. A lot of good things and fun things of our life use technology. But technology is a tool. That's what it was created for. And I guess the question is, like, when does the tool stop being a tool? When does it stop helping us experience life and stop supporting life and boosting life and amplifying life and problem solving and doing all these great things that the tool does for our life, for our experience, for our lives, and start replacing parts of life? Stop being the means to an end and become the end itself. My generation knew both sides. We knew the pre and the post technological birth, technology birth. We knew how to memorize phone numbers. We knew how to write. We knew how to do math without a calculator because they told us we never have one. Lies. We knew how to get places. We knew how to be bored. We knew how to find the answers to things without an immediate answer. We knew that there was a wait. We had patience to an extent. We knew how to do the work ourselves in finding the answer versus depending on an instant answer. But if that all went away tomorrow, would we still know how? And I'm not sure. I think I would in some ways, but I'm not sure in all. And when did that happen? When did that basic knowledge from my childhood all of a sudden become obsolete? And without me even realizing it. When did I stop being able to navigate things, the maps and such? At the end of the day, I don't want technology to go away. I don't want it to leave. I don't want it to stop progressing. But I think the question for me is, how do we continue to be active participants in our own living and existence using tools that become more powerful and advanced every single day? How do we stay on top of it? How do we just live life and experience it when there's a whole lot of ways that we could just say, and that would do it for us? And I don't really know the answer, to be honest with you. I don't think there is an answer. I just think that there needs to be a realization, because the truth is, I want my daughter to use technology. I want her to learn it. I want her to advance with it. I want it to become a part of her life. I want it to benefit her life and her life experiences. But I don't want her life experiences to be taken away from her because technology can do it all. Sometimes there is worth the work harder, not smarter thing. And sometimes, even though the urge to document, to find out, to get that instant answer is there, sometimes it's better to wait. Sometimes it's better not to pull your phone out and video Taylor Swift and Randy Newman singing "You Got a Friend in Me" versus just watching it right there. Maybe you won't have it forever, but you'll have that experience with you forever. And I think that's the point. You look at the trade-offs, you look at the benefits, you look at life and experiencing it, and you just have to realize that life is meant to be experienced. And sometimes easier is not better, but sometimes it is. And we have to be responsible in figuring that out. I don't have the answers, and I think that there isn't necessarily a clean answer. I just think it's something that we all have to think about. And I think Disney and Pixar are making me think about it, even though I went down the rabbit hole. But you know what I do know? I'm going to make sure that my daughter sees me living life and to be an active participant in my own living, my own experience, and living life to the fullest, because that's what it's all about, right? I want her to see that that's what my priority is with her, with everything. And you wanna know what else I know? The next time my kid asks me for an answer of something, we are going to figure out another way to find that answer. Claude, Chat, Siri, all of them. They can take a vacation because I need to do a little work myself, figure it out. And I'm also going to actively not bring my phone out when there's things that could be documented, because otherwise I could miss someone like Taylor Swift and Randy Newman singing a song because I'm watching it through my phone versus in real life. Well, I guess that's it, guys. Thanks for coming down my rabbit hole. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're living your life. And go see Toy Story 5 because it is really good, guys. It's really good. Disney and Pixar just, they hit it out of the park. You'll see. It's not anti-technology. It's not anti-old school toys. It's just, it's a way to coexist. Kind of the way that we need to coexist. Well, either way, let's see how it goes. So